streaming. Okay, assuming that audio is all working and that we are plugged in correctly, this should be the Mutant Epoch actual play, the High Desert Session 17. We had last Friday a session 16.5, and we had to skip last Wednesday largely because I just couldn't get prepared fast enough with all the different little things that had to be done. A lot goes into building an episode for the Mutant Epoch because we're also writing all the content as we go with the plans of releasing the High Desert in the future as a individual and independent campaign setting when the third-party license goes live. Which, if you want to see the third-party license, you can head over to the Mutant Epoch Discord, which is links in the description, and it's now taking community feedback to see what people want included inside of it. And Will is very open about negotiating, like how open it's going to be and what kind of things people want to see, so they can customize and bring in content to expand on the Outward Arts system. I'm gonna roll the opening if I can get back to OBS. All right, intro done. Welcome. All right, guys, it's been 2 weeks. We've had an epic battle down below with Shol-Thun. Hashmal was beaten to death by some fat robots. And then we had a sidebar session where we had to go up above High Rise and kind of discover what was happening with the whole political situation and the leadership. And let's have Rune take that off. What happened to your character?
Oh, fuck. Sorry, rat on the brain.
I'm building a rat!
So what happened last night was a coup happened, led by a mixture of mostly Lighthammer, but also, Connor was there too. What really happened was with the help of them two, with the help of course, the lovely Kit Lafour and the even more lovely Duke Kennard appearing out of a wormhole, or time hole. This term has been trademarked. The group battled their way up to discover that the former mayor of High Rise, was about to sign a quote-unquote peace deal with Unity, and overseeing this was the emissary, which was very obviously fake, but designed android, and of course Deuce Duo, who was just a freaky motherfucker. Really, I mean,
he did die unceremoniously. He was like a red herring.
He died very unceremoniously. Turns out micro missiles don't care about your boss status. So yeah, he got to meet his god pretty quick. But then we had a heavy combat who decides, like, nah, that's the twist. I'm the boss. And I kind of wrecked their shit pretty hard.
I did a JRPG. Do 3 bosses.
Group 1, Ernesto stepped down. It was kind of decided amongst community there that Connor would become emergency powers mayor until an election could be held. And during discussions, Connor decided he would take that job, but also he would swallow his pride and his prejudice against robots and hire Lighthammer as the temporary sheriff. And now it's up to the rest of the group to kind of, decide where they go from here. Connor does have some ideas for what he could act as a temporary quest giver, but also, Kit has to figure out her path, and Duke, of course, obviously has to figure out his path. Now I'm going back to rats.
Alti, what went on with your characters? What was their impression of the whole scenario?
Well, Kit didn't think it would be as easy as it was, despite it all. And obviously she didn't think she would have to use her berserk ability, but she did anyway. And then everybody in the party is questioning, oh, where the fuck did you pull that out of your ass from? And she goes, don't worry about it.
It's always been there.
No, but Kit did get down, but she was conscious, so that was probably the closest she ever got to death's door, thankfully. And Berserk is a really cool ability for that, so I don't know. I think Kit is going to be really sad because Connor, she's very attached to Connor, and seeing him leave, or not at least be a part of the journey now, is going to be a little bit of an adjustment period for her.
Yeah. And we introduced a new character, Duke.
Greetings all. 'Tis I, Duke Kennard, a member of the Ordo Hydraulic, and Squire Sole Apparent to the Black Knight. Duke is a duck bestial human who was there amongst the Hydraulic Knight during the Battle of Bitter Toe. Though mortally wounded, a mutation of his flared, known as Dimensional Retreat. Because of the shock of this, it exceeded the amount of time that it normally would have, and has now found himself in a strange time in a location he did not leave, with more questions than answers.
All right. Connor also managed to get Lighthammer to take over as the interim sheriff in order to help get things back under control. So that will remove Lighthammer from being an asset for the ongoing future. Which really leaves the players, if you don't mind us skipping some of the roleplay of like, what happened to you, what happened to you, and kind of going a day ahead where they can kind of decompress the situation. You know, wounds have been bandaged, goo has been applied to them, antiseptics, weapons, armor, equipment, clothing has been laundered, and, you know, work is happening. You're in that stage of like, you're clean, you're safe, things are going surprisingly back to normal relatively quickly because mercantilism never stops. People trade and business has to get going. And one of the things that's happening is that there's authorization posters that are going around trying to identify from a functionary within High-Rise, what is Unity made? Like, they have a little chit that you can fill out that describes the object. No one's trying to assign blame or get anybody in trouble for it. They're just trying to figure out a generalized inventory, like, what do we have here that we have replaced with Unity tech? And people are, you know, filling out the logs and posting them with functionaries that are moving around High-Rise, identifying different objects, and also what objects merchants are trading that are from Unity that they have. Nothing's being seized yet, but there is a lot of trade goods that have come from Unity. And surprisingly, a lot of trade goods that have come from Greywater and 86. Though, shouldn't be too surprising from Greywater. There is a water baron that actually is in High-Rise from Greywater, that he's part of the ruling triumvirate. Somebody we haven't met yet. Somebody Connors is probably going to have to get to talking to eventually.
Pretty quickly here.
So, in the early morning hours, Apocalypse, with your two characters, you have a visitor that comes to meet you at your domicile early in the morning. You get two knocks on the outside of the door, and there is you can detect it, but Red Rum wouldn't be able to, a subsonic pulse. Only your ears would be able to pick that up.
Right.
It's an identifier mark of an agent, Whitehole.
Okay.
Now, basically, it's a polite way of saying, like, hey, I'm at the door.
Oh, yeah. I have both guns pulled and ready to shoot to kill just in case. Because, you know, I didn't exactly leave on the most polite terms. So, but I'll still open the door and see precisely who it is. I think I know who it is, but if it's not her, then I'll see who it is.
There is someone who is wearing desert garb on the opposite side of the door. They've got a long gun strapped to their back. You can see that on their legs they have long striders attached that have been, you know, they're in their resting form, like strapped to the back of the calf. They've got a rebreather mask on, and under the goggles you can see faintly artificial blue eyes So it's not her.
Okay. Not her. Nope.
And there's a voice that goes over. Go ahead.
Yep. No, I just tilt my head, kind of like, okay, who's this?
The
Is it
voice
someone
modulator. No, you don't recognize them right off the bat. They're like, "Can I come in?" And he
I
holds
look
up his
around to
hands,
see-
exposing them that there's nothing in his hands.
Yep. I look around to see if there's anybody observing us.
Just the normal people who are like, "Oh, there's something going over there," but they quickly move along. Yeah, just looking
Sure.
loose.
I tip my head to kind of nod him in and open the door a little wider.
He steps inside. Thanks you. Unslings his gun and hands it to you.
Okay.
And then it's
I sheathed one of my revolvers because I had revolvers in my hand, but I had them pointed to the floor at the time that he handed it to me.
of course. Do you mind if I take a seat?
I think I need to know your purpose before we agree to that. Did they send you to retrieve me, or is this a communication?
He shakes his head as he starts undoing his mask and decoupling his rebreather. No. I got a drop from one of our other agents. Said that I could find a friend in this area. Food, water, ammunition if I needed any.
I'm willing to assist in that regard, yes.
He nods. Thank you. I'm glad that
I
Yeah.
have no ill will towards our mutual employer, but they might have some ill will towards me, which is why I questioned.
No, I understand. I actually don't even know who you are, other than that they put a marker down that you can be trusted.
Curious. I wonder which one put that down.
He was like, I can hand you the cipher code if you know who it is. And he hands you over a small disc of like some kind of poly resin. It has a bunch of small impressions on it, and it's in code. It's the name for Luana.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So she
that's fine
basically said that you were like a little safe house.
then. All right. We can go with that.
That coup last night. Oh my god. I was shifting hands.
Missed a bit of it. We were underground for a bit of time. But yeah, I saw the beginning. It was nasty business.
Very nasty. Well, instability inside high-rise is instability across the entire region. But that's neither here nor there. Do you have any chlorine tablets or antibiotics?
I look over to where Red Rum is probably sitting and meddling with various substances. I have an acquaintance here that has that kind of thing. It might not be quite what you're used to, but the effects should be quite potent.
As long as it works. And he's like, if you can help me, I got this bandage is stuck to my ribs. As he starts opening up his desert coveralls, and he peels back the survival suit, and you hear like a wet, moist ripping noise, and he winces like, son of a bitch. As he pulls it open, you can see the red caked blood, and it smells bad. It's infected. And as he peels it open, he's like, fucking rabbit got me.
Oh, you poor dear, says Red, and she rushes over and she starts pouring antiseptic type things onto it, and not really having good bedside manner in the sense that she doesn't really allow for his pain tolerance. She just dumps it right on. But she will simultaneously place, one hand on him and the very, very slow process of building his hit points with just one-handed contact.
So you notice that his like wince and his gasp and his motions, they're all learned patterns that you have taught other people that were non-organics.
Ah.
He is organic to a point, but he's not fully. He's a cyborg, but he's highly cyber.
Got it. So he's not a bioreplica cyborg. He's an actual human cyborg.
Yeah, he's a human cyborg, but probably something like grown.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
It's like it's one of those ones that's like not quite human.
Yeah, that's totally within Whitehole's capability. So
yeah.
All right. Yep. I kind of raise an eyebrow at his antics, but
I mean they're good. But you saw it right away. Yeah.
shake his head a little bit, but you're like, yep, I was better off with my plasticized gel coating rather than real flesh.
Now the blood is real,
Warmed,
so
yeah.
he definitely has like an organic, like that area is organic.
Oh, sure.
And
Sure.
and the infection's real too, and you can see how that's interfering with his inner workings. As he's like,
Yep.
he's like, oh, God, do you have any non-unity power supplies? I swear to God, those things did something to my arm. As he like opens up one of his other armor pads and he exposes a bunch of like a battery pack that he ejects on that side that's burnt out. This infection's doing awful things to me.
I have one white hole battery left. I will give it to you.
No,
But at some point, I want you to reciprocate and give me one back.
I mean, you can have the damaged one as he like ejects it from his arm, and the arm just it doesn't work anymore the moment he ejects it, and you can see the
Sure.
corrosion on it. There's biological components like nerve endings and stuff like that that go into the cybernetic component, and they're infected, and that's caused an infection to move into the biogel of his battery. So the biogel is itself infected. As he's looking, he's
Got
like, no, these synthetic Unity ones just they can't hold on to the power regulation. The pulse generating of those things is awful. It releases power way too aggressively. You'd be popping on every sensor that's around.
Typical Unity imprecision and blundering.
Yeah, might makes right? Ugh.
It's their philosophy.
Oh, I see, like, rests back. Oh, thank you. Miss, what's your name?
She looks at him and just kind of smiles and says, "You can just call me Red, hun."
Red, thank you. Hey, do you have any contact with any of
What
those?
what is she getting off of him? I mean, does he have normal emotions?
He does. He has a human brain. He has emotions. Pain is on the top. Like, he is in actual
Sure.
pain. He's not panicked. He seems completely at ease because he's in a safe house.
Got it.
There's urgency that's there. Like, he has some kind of mission. He also seems like he's taken a couple. There's some fog there that she would recognize from people who have taken narcotics. Mm-hmm. And the narcotics are probably painkillers and enhancement drugs
Okay.
in order to keep him moving and you're chugging along, considering the injury he has. With only a few seconds of her like getting in there and looking at it, this would have been like Red Rum would have known right away. That would have been fatal to him. That would have taken out his liver.
Sure.
His liver is basically masticated. It's gone. And without a liver, you're not going to function for very long. Your blood's going to get dirty and you're going to die. You're going to go septic.
Right.
And she could also see there's non-biological components in his skeletal apparatus. Again, she's open. She could open them up and like look in there, and it's like there's a lot of stuff showing there that is just hard mixed in with biological components.
All right. Well, she's doing her best. She doesn't have more potent healing yet
Yeah.
for the psychic abilities, but she does what she can, and once she's done, cleaning the wound as best she can and applying the medicinals that she can with her herbalism 4. Did I mention she had herbalism 4 now?
Nice.
Maxed out. I thought there might be higher, but no, that's as high as you can go.
It's like there's a guy here who used to be able to sell synth skin, which I'm going to need to patch this up, but I can't find him.
I might know a guy that could help us synthesize something like that. He's pretty big brain. I haven't seen him around yet today, but if we can find him.
Well, yeah, if we got to buy something from one of the skin vat merchants, the meat grinders out there on the street, I'll be fine with that. I've got local currency. Plenty enough to be able to buy some just, synth flesh or burn skin.
That's fine too.
Anything to slap over it to keep the infection from reoccurring.
Like I said, I don't know where my buddy is, so.
That's fine.
In fact, I think I'm going to try messaging him right now because I don't know where the hell he is.
He's sleeping. Or he's getting that wonderful sushi
Yeah.
again. Lord it over
No,
us.
he's probably sleeping.
I'm still jealous of that sushi he had. When he posted
Yeah,
that
it's pretty
picture.
nice. It's
It
pretty
was.
nice.
I haven't had sushi in a while. When I saw that picture, I'm like, none of the sushi places out here are good enough.
Well, sushi in high rise is pretty prime. Yep. That's me getting you back on track, Tim.
Thank you. Oh, God. All right, so with that, we're gonna shift over to a couple of the group's characters. Duke, what are you doing right now after you've decompressed for the day? Like, what is happening with you? Who do you talk to?
Duke. Well, his primary goal would be at least to still garner information regarding his whereabouts, so he'd probably have still started with Lighthammer, as he's the only predominant hydraulic knight he knows in the area. He has vague recollection of Sir Iliad, but not well enough to remember him. So he's mostly just trying to get his bearings as to where he is and when he is, and ideally trying to figure out why he's there.
So would you try to stick around the characters that you've already met, that you could kind of, like, you trust that they're good people?
I'll stick with Kit.
Okay.
And occasionally check on Sarah Connor.
So, Kit, you've got a duck man who's hanging out with you.
How fare thee the day, Kit?
Good. Do you do anything for fun?
Myself? I tend to find joy in many things. However, currently, he starts leaning on his non-left leg. He starts leaning on his right leg a little bit more and bracing himself with his right arm. I could probably stand to perform more maintenance upon myself. What of thyself?
I don't know. I kind of. Actually, she goes and she starts like digging through her backpack.
Digging through her backpack.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if she has anything. Aw. No cards. I was gonna see if they could play cards.
Oh.
What are
Are
they?
you familiar with cards?
2 silver
You're
down
in
at the
high, I
market?
was gonna say, you're in high rise. I'm sure you could probably find a procure of cards.
Head on to the bazaar, pick up some backgammon, you know?
Let's say we walk and talk. Thou dost seem to have much on thy mind.
Oh wait, I think Bruce has cards.
Ah. Then let us meet Sir Roos.
Oh, you're gonna like him, or maybe you'll hate him. I don't know. A lot of people do.
I find those that many people dislike are quite commonly my folk.
Well, he'll like that then.
I'll follow along with Kit.
So Roos is actually, I want to say Roos is near Connor actually, because upon hearing what happened with Connor, he would definitely want to find out other stuff.
Oh, that's all.
So I'll say that, Connor, you've been dragged off to the municipal's prison, where a lot of cultists that had survived the night's massacre have been rounded up and put into incarceration. There's a lot of questioning going on, but it seems like every single time they bring one out for questioning, they're largely brain dead. Somebody like reached in, scooped out a part of their brain. Their personalities are so mute. They eat, they drink water, they'll follow you if you tell them to do something. They'll follow simple commands, but as far as like personal initiative, they take none.
We've been just talking in circles for over a day now.
And Roos is nearby, so Yeah, they were kind of like that when we were all down in the basement.
And can you read their mind? Can you get anything out of them?
So Roos,
Yeah, Roos will do that.
describe that sensation. Like what? Describe again what it is when Roos tries to go into somebody's mind. What does that look like to him? How does he visualize that?
So last time when I described it as a series of opening and closing doors, I want to
hallway.
actually, I want to actually expand on that. So to bring, I feel like it's almost like an interconnected, like it's almost like you're plugging in a tether to somebody else, and you're essentially like experiencing the immediate thoughts that come to a person's mind. So it's like if I don't know, like if it connects to somebody's mind and they're like thinking about like, oh, what's for dinner tonight, he can immediately pick that up. But anything that isn't on the forefront of their mind, he's like he has to kind of travel in a little deeper. So it's not necessarily like a like I guess a pseudo hallucinogenic experience doing that. It's more or less just like it would come into his head as if it came into your head, you know?
Well, it makes sense. He's peering into like the mundanity of people's lives almost, and kind of like opening up little scenes into like windows of their being, almost like slices of it. So for looking in on these individuals, when Roos opens up his mind and tries to go into theirs, there's no resistance there. The door is completely open. And the handle is hold to the touch, metal, smooth. The door is made of some kind of ply and has that feeling of a hollow core door. You know, an interior door in an office building somewhere. There's tens of thousands of them, and none of them really have any kind of like resistance to them. They're very light and feathery.
Okay. Is there like... Is there still like some semblance of this, like this cultist, or is it just like they're completely like the lights on but nobody's home kind of deal?
Again, there's a light around the edges of the door. There's carpet that leads in the interior. And does he swing the door open to peer into their mind actively?
Oh yeah.
So he swings the door open and he sees inside a room with a single little love seat and a person sitting on it with a pleased, kind of semi-vacant expression, and they have a puzzle on a coffee table in front of them. And all of the pieces are scattered all over the place, and they're all sorts of strange geometries. And they're slowly just kind of like putting one piece down next to another one in color groups. You know how you separate like the sky from the larger other color groups, so you can kind of figure out where the edges are. But this is a puzzle without edges. And they're really just kind of like cycling through the same few pieces. Like this is a sky piece. This is a body piece. This is some greenery.
And it's just the same thing over and over again.
Over and over again. Just all the pieces are there. If it's representing their mind, but it's broken. And there's some kind of disconnect in their ability to form a good picture. And so you can kind of see that whole thing with somebody telling them like, hey, go here, hey, do this, hey, go here and perform this task. As long as it's not complex, they can do it. Because you're putting those little pieces together for them. But to paint their own picture, it's not there. But the parts are there. There's still a person in there.
So it's almost like a psychic lobotomy, it sounds like.
Yeah, sounds like it's very much like somebody went in there with a psychic pick and got rid of that motivation center of the brain. That drive.
Connor, he turns to Connor and after he severs the connection and shakes his head. I don't think you're getting anything out of them.
That's okay. I'll have to discuss with the rest of the leadership who lives, and we'll figure out No, my bad. The rest of the triplicate. We'll have to discuss how we deal with these people. I mean, yeah, they're still alive, but as of right now, they're mostly just a strain on resources. But that's neither here nor there. It's nothing you guys have to worry about. I'm coming up with some plans, actually, and I'm going to need you and whoever is willing to help. I need, help. But first and foremost, tell me again, what happened to Hashmal? I thought he was alive.
What did happen to Hashmal? It's been a minute.
Yeah, alright, explain. What did you do to Hatchmal?
I mean, Argo may have fired the poor bastard like 3 times. No, twice. He finally hit him. Managed to bring him down to -1.
So he's still conscious.
No,
isn't
you
he?
guys. Yeah.
I thought we said that he was, and then if we tried to do
Yeah.
anything to him.
Yeah.
He's alive. Barely.
He's been given drugs, keeping him stable.
Yeah,
I would have said no drugs. I would have laughed if he did.
he's stable.
So for this one, Ara, I would say that you've probably taken over that lab that Clark had. And we could say Hashmal's in like one of the tanks. You got him like on life support, so his brain can't wake up.
Perfect. He's going to get the minimum amount he needs.
Yeah,
And nothing more.
He's
If he
so
starts crashing,
dangerous.
he just starts crashing.
Yeah, because
That fucker has no sympathy for me.
yeah,
he
and
murdered one of my friends.
he's so incredibly dangerous if he were to gain consciousness. Even an iota of consciousness, he is way too dangerous.
That's why whiskey is currently sitting right next to him, barrel to the head.
Like right on the tank, just aimed.
Oh yes, there is no chances.
So there you go. That's where Hashmal is. What does Roos and Connor want to do about that? 'Cause he might have telepathically active mind. Sorry.
I was going to say, I say we give the good doctor a visit and see if we can discuss some things with the patient.
Yeah, speaking of prying into minds, and you can do with this info what you will. Bruce kind of scratches his arm in a nervous tick.
It can wait. I want to focus on Hashmal for now.
Okay. Lead on.
So that's going to take you guys across the town. Beans, the beast folk of High Rise that had basically been relegated to, I'm going to say second-class citizens, even though they weren't really treated that way. They just, they're not native residents, and so you always have that kind of disharmony between two groups that haven't effectively merged into one people yet. And they are really kind of like loving that they helped save the city. And a lot of other people, a lot of native citizens are also really into this whole like they're seeing the beast folk who helped, rise up and take down the cult and, rebellious elements that were trying to stage a coup. They're celebrating with them, congratulating them, inviting them over. You're watching that last barrier between these two kind of societies start to crumble, and it only can improve if someone makes more steps to like increase integration. So that's happening kind of like around you. But what else would Mira and Rhea be up to right now?
So it's probably been about a day. So
Yeah.
Rhea's probably heard the news that Clark has gone missing.
Yes.
So she's probably on a warpath to whoever the most relevant person is to kick in their door and ask the big question is, what do you mean he's gone? Gone where?
Poor Connor. getting his doors kicked in.
Oh boy. Yeah, in business.
Away on business?
What's this again now? Oh, what's
I'm
happening?
cutting out.
Okay.
I'm cutting out. My
Ah, we're
connection.
losing him.
Get cut into pieces. Rhea, stop.
So I heard poor Connor, and I heard something about Rhea being
Oh,
pissed for Connor.
Well, Beans did say that Rhea was looking for the person most in charge for this particular scenario. The only person I can think of right now would be the mayor.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
The poor duly elected mayor.
Riss is just there like,
Slides away slowly.
I'll let you handle that.
Pork.
Hold on a second. Connor needs to reconnect.
okay. We'll bounce back over to Ara. Are you still with me? I muted his mic. You might have stepped away.
Yes, I'm using
Okay.
scones. Sorry.
Okay, so
Oh,
Connor
you
was
got it.
approached by Angry Rabbit. What happened?
Whatever he is, she kicked in the door in the room that he's currently occupying and demanded to know where Connor has gone.
You mean cunt?
Or, yeah. God damn it.
I know. I did this
Yeah,
on purpose.
No, Clark. Son of a bitch.
I did it myself.
Who is this man? The man of 1,000 names.
Nah, he's still having technical issues.
Okay, we'll circle back to around to that one in like
Yeah.
10 minutes.
So
Sorry,
let's-
you can go.
Yeah, so I go back to Ara. Ara, you got a message erroneously from somebody out in the shopping, the bazaar. If you're still with me, because you're eating scones. Somebody's looking for
I am.
synth skin. Like pretty good quantity, about half a meter of. Now, synth skin, they want the living variant that's used on cyborgs in order to cover over cybernetics. So it's ones with capillaries and nerve endings, heat, cold sensation. There was an extra stipulation in there that it needs to be hydrosensitive. That doesn't come standard on humans. Humans don't have hydroreceptors on their skin.
Interesting.
Yep. That's something that bugs have, but not people.
Indeed. Well, hopefully this teaches me how to do biotech.
I mean, you could take a minute to kind of like go through the inventory of what Clark had here, see if he's got any synth skin on. I mean, there is synth skin here, but again, remember his notes were such a fucking travesty, like breakdown train wreck. It's going to take an intelligence check just to be able to find something.
Quick question, Tim.
Yeah.
What officially happened to Clark? Because I can't remember.
He
been a while.
disappeared. Nobody remembers where he
disappeared.
went. Yeah, they can't find Clark. They can't find Kent. They can't find his wife. They
You
vanished
found
during
out
the
about it
fighting.
in the short thing that we missed, the 16.5.
Ah, the fucking course.
Yeah.
You have to listen to that to
Alright.
find out.
Oh, that's right.
Go back.
Yeah, I could re-up on that one. But yeah, they disappeared during the fighting that night, and no one's been able to find them. They were possibly spotted a group of 3 people leaving the city on Silt Striders to the south. That's the only lead that anyone has right now. Now, he didn't leave anything booby-trapped or password protected inside the laboratory that he was in charge of. He has this huge bio lab that he was creating a lot of meat from, like synthetic meat for some reason, that was ostensibly to feed Shoal Thun. Not really known what he was doing with all that synth meat. There's also a lot of like skin that he was creating. And along with a lot of other things, bodies. He's making a lot of bodies. To do what with? You don't know. Not yet.
Oh, I am definitely going to try studying his work so I can try to figure out half of what he's working on.
Yeah,
What is
so
a quarter?
Give me a type C intelligence check, because there's a chance that you run into some like safeguards that'll lock you out.
Ah, lovely. Intelligence.
Does the fact he's trained
got
in
it.
computer tech make a difference?
He'll be able to crack it if he runs into them.
Okay.
It would just take time. You just take the hard drive. All right, so you're able to bypass all the security systems that he has there and start looking into his inventory database and clean up some of the information. Now, a lot of this chaos, now you're starting to realize, was planned. There is a pattern here. And just the pattern is so deeply nested in some kind of bizarre, like, mutating algorithm that it was kind of hard to figure out at first. It's the kind of algorithm somebody would use if they want to make something look.
Reset our internet.
Okay, it's the kind of thing that somebody wanted to make blinking seem organic. It's like that kind of random number game that he did in order to like hide his files. So there's obviously has to be a key somewhere so you can track it too. And that might take some time to figure out, but you started to realize what the pattern was. It's like the chaos is too perfect.
Well,
Everything's too evenly
now he
spaced
has my
out.
fucking attention.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, exactly.
poor bastard.
Yeah, right.
You
It's
have
like
multi-$1,000 debt to me, and now you left me with a puzzle.
yeah, planned
You
chaos.
foul bastard.
So you do find skin, reams and reams of it, mostly that he's been growing in sheets. This is mostly skin to replace people who have contracted cancer. Now, cancer is a pretty big problem in the hide because of the sun's UV radiation and a lot of the reflected sunlight coming off of the sand dunes. So people get radiation sickness, they get second and third degree burns from the sun, and they need replacement skin, and so they grow it here. And you don't have any like hydrosensitive skin, but you do have human, synthetic skin that can be put up with capillaries and it will regrow. Air sensation, movement. It works. So you can confidently fill that order. On top of that, though, you do find a bunch of bodies with an interesting arrangement of brain functions. Some of the upper brain functions don't seem to be like present. It's all lower brain function. Automated stuff, heartbeat, lungs, movement, automated like automatic response. Like if something moves, they'll catch it. But they weren't really given too many higher brain functions. But like someone was making cattle out of people.
Interesting. We're trying to make a perfect soldier.
Or a perfect soldier, something that can take orders blankly.
Well, this just sounds fun.
Do you want to talk to
Lager
that?
now has it.
Yeah. Do you want to radio that person in the market that needed that skin?
Yeah.
All right. So on the opposite line is a older man. Now you remember him. He was the guy that was trying to sell eyes to people. He has a little market stall where he has like a kind of like a chop shop. He's like a chop surgeon. He installs synthetic eyes, cyberized eyes, all sorts of stuff like that. He's like, oh yeah. I got a. Yeah, so you got the skin.
I got the skin.
All right,
But you
cool.
got the cash.
Well, he's willing to pay up to 400 silver for 1 meter square synth skin and installation. He's going to need a regrow vat, oxygen supply, nutrient paste filling, and he's also going to need it's something about a hydrophobic skin suit. I think he means like a wetsuit. He's going to want a wetsuit for the area that's not going to be under where the skin's not getting attached. I got the wetsuit. That's not a problem. I can get him hooked up with that. I got a shrink wrap one. There's an air pump stuff. It's pretty good for surgeries when you gotta have pressurize an area. So I can bring that one over, and figure I'll charge you 50 for that. So yeah, how about 350 silver then? We'll call it good.
I'll call it acceptable.
All right. I'll page the guy. I'll try to get a hold of him, see what's up, and we'll come back with hopefully I'll come back like over in an hour or so.
Sounds good.
And, you just hear a click on the opposite side from the radio transceiver. So
Margo has officially decided he wishes to learn how to barter.
yeah, it's like it'd be a great skill. Be able to get more money out of that guy.
Yeah. I mean,
Talk
he's
to her,
halfway
Red.
decent,
She can barter. She can teach you in a month.
Oh, good.
So at that time, this unnamed contact is sitting inside Cinder's room, and like there's a little beep beep beep, and he like takes out a little tiny radio device. Like, hey, do you mind if I take this? It's a civilian call.
All right.
He opens it
Go
up.
ahead.
He's like, all right, you're on open mic. Gotta talk to me. And he's like, just tells the guy right away. He's like, and you hear the other person like, hey, I got you a skin. He's like, all right, well, how much? He's like, 500. Like the guy on the table, like the guy sitting down, getting rum red, like stitching him up, kind of rolls his eyes. He's like, 450. And they haggle back and forth, and they finally settle at about 475. And he hangs up the transceiver, and he's like, well, that's the skin at least. Now, really, thank you for patching this up. If I didn't get that skin job, who knows if that would have come through. But hopefully this helps with the infection not setting in, because those guys never clean themselves properly when they get you any kind of new implants.
Hey, Ara.
Yes.
Do you have the chat open for our current audio?
The Discord one?
Mm-hmm.
A bubble chat.
I think I'm back, by the way.
Oh, cool.
Welcome back.
Ah.
I recognize those things.
Click on the little thing and yeah. Just
Okay.
saying. Just
Oh,
saying.
I mean, he's not gonna be able to get it. He's gonna find out. Oh, hey, someone already bought it for me for about 2K right off. So I have some extra, but it's gonna cost you a pretty penny.
Yeah, they don't want
Yeah,
the whole
dude.
thing.
Did you see what I posted?
Yeah, synthetic skin. Yeah, 1800 plus a D1000. Yeah, yeah, they're getting a square. They're not getting the whole skin suit.
Well, no, that's probably for about that much. It's
Yeah.
not cheap.
No, it's not. It is expensive stuff, and you've got reams of it in there. Cover up whole bodies or whole giant slug monster things. Who knows? He's like, all right. Hey, thanks for the safe spot in the water, and appreciate your time with the patch up. I'm gonna head over to the contact and go get this skin job done.
Say, before you do that, say I want to get in touch with you at some point in the future to discuss work and status of operations. Our mutual friend didn't leave me any contact info. We were a little chaotic at the time of our parting.
No, that doesn't surprise
not-
me. She found me. I didn't find her.
That's
like-
what she does.
Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, sure. He goes inside his. He opens up his jacket. He takes out a small piece of plastic film. He's like, commit this to memory for me, and it's a series of codes on it for a radio signal.
All right.
It's like it's off old. This will be off of an atmospheric bounce. You'll be able to hit me off of that.
All right. Since Cinder has an integrated communication system, he'll just input
it,
it into
yeah.
his system. Yeah.
And the
That way
guy
there
sits there.
never forgets.
Then he sits there. He touches his throat. Test one, and you can. If you open your mic, you'll be able to hear him.
Yep. And I confirm that I can hear him.
All right. He says, it's a little bit stronger than line of sight, but you got to be at someplace high with not a lot of metal around you. If we're inside the building somewhere, I won't be able to reach you.
Understand.
Yeah, mine's shortwave.
Mine's a little fancier than that.
Yeah, I'm sure. Oh, I'm not really out here with the fancy stuff. Just light recon. Stands up,
Yep.
holds his hand out to you.
He will reach out his hand and take his hand.
Yeah,
Shake
shakes it, and then you can feel he has a synthetic arm. Like, I mean, you saw the battery come out and everything like that, so you know the hand's synthetic. The Bacon model, as you get a grip of it, that's a standard cyberized arm. Like, this guy is assembly line constructed.
Sure.
Like, oh, okay, yeah, There's hundreds of you.
Yeah, throwaway minion.
Yeah. Thanks a bunch. All right.
Well,
As he
Be
checks his.
careful out there.
Will do.
Sometimes mission parameters exceed realism.
Tell me about it. This place is a freak show. Maybe I could be able to.
That.
He's like, all right. My next stop is I got to do a skirt around Tetanus Valley, check out the southern bound reaches, then I'm heading up north of Bittertoe, up towards Gehenna.
Mm-hmm.
You got a point you're going to, or are you on deep cover?
No, not deep cover. Not totally sure yet, but most likely we'll be heading to Greywater next.
Greywater. Well, if you're heading to Greywater and he reaches inside and he pulls up another little code ampule, 2 contact points out in Greywater.
Excellent. I'll take those.
Like, one of them's an apothecary. She works on the underside of the city, kind of like on the pit fights. That's her. That's her actual job. Not a plant or anything. Just friendly. But don't lean on her too much. She has limited resources.
Huh? I'm sure my friend Red will have a lot to talk about with her, and Red won't let me lean on her.
Like, the other one, though, is from Rabbit Hole. It's a raider group that comes in and out of the area, hits caravans coming out from the city. We've got I wouldn't call it a deep plant, more like a mutual beneficial contact. You'll have to fork over some silver, but if you show your credentials, they at least won't shoot you.
Good enough.
Yeah, we're trying to make inroads with some of the rabbit raiders. Rumor has it there's a couple up by Gehenna, and that's where I'm going to go visit.
Yep. He with the best network wins.
Well, damn straight that's true. All right, well, you have a good day. I'm going to go check this thing out.
Yep. Good luck subverting the enemy and establishing assets on the inside.
Yep. Good luck to you too. And he leaves without trading names. Just know him by voice.
Yeah.
And ident code.
I didn't share my name either.
Yeah.
My current name.
Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah, again, but you do have your ID codes, which is probably the safest way to know each other.
Yep.
Because at the very least, those would be very hard to spoof.
Sure.
Now, Rune and Beans, you guys had just like Beans, your character and me are just walked up with like Whiskey Tango, but not the robot. What's going on?
What?
Your character, yeah. Get down the door with Connor. Yeah.
Can I help you?
Shit. Septilio. Yeah, right. Or the fucking. What do you mean Clark is gone?
That means
Gone where?
he was seen fleeing. We saw like going south out of to the Silt Sea, right? Was the last thing you saw?
Yep, south out of the Silt Sea.
Last he took his family and they're fleeing southbound during the coup. Turns out no one bothered to find them.
Yesterday. Have you sent anyone after them?
Bruce smiles.
I'm working on something right now for it, but right now my affairs are mostly internal.
Well,
Right, just shoots a look over at Roos. What?
don't make me spell it out for you, Rabbit.
No, go on, please.
He rolls his eyes. I'm a bounty hunter.
And you're still standing here.
I'm waiting for the authorization.
Was that a quack or?
And the sallies of the bounty.
I mean, Bruce is waiting for a bounty. I think they need to hear the prattle of silver on the table to go after it.
Mm-hmm.
That's how that usually works.
And that's the thing. I can't just issue a bounty. I'm a part of the triplicate now. We work together to figure this out. Apologies. I was just at the prison trying to figure out why everyone who was following Hoshmal is now a lobotomite. And we're currently trying to rip out every tendril that Unity had in here. I've had a little stress on it. You are free to go out venturing the desert for free to find them, Rhea. But right now, my worry is here in High Rise.
Yeah, that's fine. Do you have anything that maybe can help me? Like a direction that he went, apart from just south? You don't have any eyes out there? Nothing?
Southbound. That means either copper dust or gray water, or they're suicidal. I don't think they're looking for copper dust.
Fucking gray water.
Seems everyone's heading that way. It's the biggest place to hide, right short of leaving the region.
All right, so how do you get onto the roof of this place? Is there roof access?
Yes, there is roof access. I'm assuming Connor has some form of communication now, within the security of High Rise.
Oh, definitely. And by all means, when it comes to places like High Rise, freeform it a bit. We'll yes and it.
We do have roof access. We have the roost, so here, I'll do you a favor. And Connor's gonna take the communicator and call up that to allow Rhea access to
Air
their
clearance.
There's a high power sniper rifle up there with a good scope. Feel free to borrow it. You're not allowed to keep it. Yeah.
She'll actually take out her other drone and be like, do you have anything like this, but maybe a little bit better I can use?
What'd she do? I'm sorry.
Her drone. She'll take out her little dinky drone and ask if there's anything better that you might have around.
From guessing with the technology of High Rise, yeah, I'll say yeah. 1 second.
A longer range drone.
Yeah, I would imagine there'd be something that, especially for deeper areas for repairing and in the industrial side, they're gonna have drones.
Yeah. I was just gonna say that they're gonna have a drone that you can borrow up there. Again, you can't keep it, but we're more than welcome to use it for your initial scout.
You also know they have large construction robots because of the cleared areas in the under part of the city was designed for those robots.
All right, she'll take the level 9 access code, just kind of grumble and make her way up to up to the roost.
I guess I'll join her.
I need you for Ashmal. Look, I'm gonna need to reconvene with the quote unquote party before you all leave anyway, so you'll be able to reconnect.
All right then.
So cut the beans. You're up on top of this roof, up on the roof. Is that where you're going straight away?
Yes, actually. Where was that scene take place? Was that in Connor's office, or was that in the lab?
We were in the street. We were heading to Ara's office.
You were like, motherfucker. The guards are around. I'm like, should we kill it? It's a bunny.
Bitch, I'd like to see you try.
I want to have Mira do something before Rhea
Okay,
does her
Mira.
drone thing.
What's Mira up to?
I wanna check out that satellite from 10 episodes ago.
The uplink that Athena was
uplink.
using.
Yeah.
The one that you captured that drone, right?
The drone?
That she was using to bounce the relay bounce off of. The
Was there a
holographic
drone?
one.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, the one that
I
was
got whatever it was. I got the
Yeah, it was the one that was used as a It was using the holographic projection. It was using relay bounce. All right.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So you're checking that drone's how it's uplinking to the satellite up above. And so you're turning it on, taking a look at it, seeing if it's picking up a signal. Hey, AOL, do you got mail? What's going on here?
Yeah, right, pinging it.
Yeah, just checking its IP address. Well, what you find out is you're looking at the ping log, and it logs every like at a fixed rate every so many hours, and that is consistent with a satellite orbiting the planet.
Right.
Now it has, since there's not a multiple satellites that it has access to, it's only when it passes, within a certain field. Well, essentially the horizon. And that's its window, which is not in sync with the day-night cycle. So it's going to be, at different times.
Sorry, what was the window for? A couple hours?
Yeah, it's going to be open for a few hours each day.
Now, is this something Mira could connect to and transfer into?
Potentially, yeah. If she can get past its hardwall, or its firewall. Because this is going to be an ancient tech.
I mean, she'll definitely try and probe its defenses.
Figure out, like, all right, Pena, what are you? So right now it's overhead, so you can actually you're getting a clear signal from it. Mira's going to go up on the roof too, because she can get probably the best signal that way.
I would imagine, yeah.
Yeah. So popping up there while Rhea's sitting there, like, scope in hand, like, where are those motherfuckers?
Enjoying the new drone.
And there's
flies like new.
There's not much that Rhea herself can see out there. The Silt Sea masks the whole area in just a dusty cloud. You got the mountains behind you. You can see far in the distance Tetanus Valley as it lays in broken earth off to the north and the east. Then you have that huge white expanse in the west. And then the mountains screen everything north of you. And then just, again, the Silt Sea to the south. Just blanketed in dust. For Mira's sake, though, when she pings the service, she gets back a feed that tells her the regional temperature, humidity level, dew point, and high and low pressure fronts.
Oh, joy. Is there a storm on the way?
There is not, but there is an increase of low pressure, so you can expect some wind coming in from the south. Those old trade winds are still active and coming through. But it'll be windy the next couple days, but it's a weather satellite.
So it doesn't have any video feed on it, no camera.
It's got lots of sensors, but no no camera.
There's no ability to enhance.
It just has a the sensors for being able to pick up just the dew points, humidity, those kinds of trackers. But it's picking them. It's taking readings from other relay points around the high desert and the regions surrounding.
That was going to be my next question.
It's gathering telemetry, and it's combining those into an image and then casting it back, whoever pings it.
Does it have the GPS coordinates of these other locations?
It does. They show you a network of where they're all at. The nearest one is over in Bittertoe.
Interesting, okay.
That one is probably in the fortress itself. There's another one over by Unity, another at 86. And there's one deep inside Lost Soul. Oh, there's a couple of these things. Again, precipitation, moisture, wind, thermal sensors. Just, again, the kind of telemetry you would need in order to kind of give you a picture of what the weather's like.
Other than that, the satellite seems empty. There's no occupants.
That doesn't seem to be an AI unit.
Okay.
Just a dumb compiler.
Could you see if there's a downlink point in the ruins of Bittertoe?
Yeah, there's data transfer back and forth. Yeah, none of this is protected because if you don't have the IP, you can't look into it. Can't receive the signal. And
it's all darknet stuff.
Yeah. It's all unlisted. And it's just there's definitely something downloading and uploading in Bittertoe.
Okay. Maybe then she'll just take a quick jaunt over to Bittertoe and see what's up on that end.
Yeah, basically like pass a part of her consciousness up, send a cookie.
Yeah, right. Up the satellite, down the satellite.
Up the satellite, down the satellite. So up and down satellite link. The opposite end of that one, you're up in the satellite, and you can kind of see all over the Crossroads region. You can see into the Shattered regions, and a little bit further east and a little bit further north, up into Ventura. And there's a lot of, link locations. You also notice that there is a very, very, very like wide intelligence that covers a good chunk of the Shattered region. Stay away from that.
I wonder what that could be.
Yeah, well, it might be the AI cities. So you hit down into Bittertoe, and what you can see there is whatever is passing up information, that's just a small subset of what it's doing. There's a big intelligence down there at Bittertoe. Though it's having handshake errors, like a lot of the packets it's sending up are incomplete.
She's not in the Bittertoe system.
No. Just looking at it.
Okay.
I'd imagine you want to check the link before you dive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you want to make sure you can get back. Yeah, again, a lot of the data coming out of there is incomplete. There's a lot of handshake violations. Something on the opposite end isn't right.
All right, probably not worth getting marooned there then. It's having upload issues.
Yeah, the 86
download
one
just fine. That sounds like a trap.
Yeah, 86 is looking healthy and good. It's sending up data. The one in Greywater looks. There's a weak signal from Greywater. It pings every now and then, but complete packets.
Yeah. Okay. We'll check out Greywater then. Zip over to Greywater.
So the Greywater one is literally just the thermal sensor and hydration sensor. It's a dumb program. It just doesn't have enough
Look
room
at you.
for you.
You're in a thermostat.
Yeah.
All right. Well, should you adjust the temperature to 69 degrees then hop back?
Then fuck off. I'm like, ha! Somebody's over
unless
there.
Unless there's another way she can transfer to somewhere else.
It's so
through
fucking
that
hot in
sensor.
here.
Yeah, someone's at it's a sauna. That's what it is. Like,
69 degrees Celsius. Oh shit!
oh God, why my skin?
The servers. Someone save the servers.
The 86 one again is the strongest signal in the area.
Yeah, she just kind of like trying to find a way to maybe get eyes on Clark.
Yeah, nothing.
All right.
It's an interesting system to have, like, access to, though, because now that you have the address, you could have it whatever you want.
Oh, for what the hell? Let's go to 86. Come on, what's going on at 86?
All right, 86. Literally, you
No
die.
God, this is about to be a hostage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you dive into a machine down there, and you have a optical readout that you have access to. You have appears to be some voice code stuff that you can speak through, along with some basic movement apparatuses, like some kind of turbine, maybe some kind of motion. You can perceive your environment in black and white, and it's mostly just lights and darks. And like, what do you want to do with that? I mean, you're in a room that there's somebody in the room with you. It's like a large clunky foot with that's kind of squared in shape, a robot foot. It's some kind of shop with like a lot of just bits and debris everywhere.
Aw, shut up.
Observe.
You're in a Roomba.
Yeah, you're in a Roomba.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
R5D2, yeah. You're in an R5 unit.
Just ram into a wall. Ow, damn it.
Oh, what we got over here? What's happening, little buddy?
Oh, God, no.
There's something. This like short robot comes over and like looks at you like, "Hey, wait a minute." Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Oh, what's happening here? As he's like looking at tapping your little head. Hey, Cadwin, come here. What's wrong? Tell me, what's going on? And this strange. If a robot could be filthy, that is what this thing is. Like oiled rags, rust. Literally, this thing believes in the old adage, "In rust we trust." That's him.
I love this character.
What do you got here, Jimmy? What's going on? What seems to be the problem? He's like, the thermostat moved. It moved, Jimmy. No, thermostats don't move on their own, Jimmy. There's something on in there. Who's in there? Is he like coming down? And he like literally, you feel the whole body picks up and he holds it at him, and he's got this face is used to be a human face of some kind, but it's wrinkled by the sun. It's got pet marks all through it. It's dirty, and the iris eyes, one of them is slightly like it tried to be the mockery of organic. The other one's completely machine, just a blue LED that's kind of flashing weakly at you. We got a little stowaway. Who's in there?
This is your automated update system.
Ah, it's just the automated update system. Windows, Timmy. It just drop.
You are 200 years out of date.
It must have just turned on. Must have been connected with one of the satellites passing over. One of those Starlink uplink things. Just throw it in the trash with the other ones. And Timmy's sitting there like, I'm not gonna do that. No, I think you're a little bit more special than that. Fuck you, Cadwin. Picks you up and like puts you underneath its arm and kind of like waddles away and like puts you on a table. Yeah, we're gonna crack into you and find out what's going on.
Oh, eject.
That's awesome.
You felt the USB port go in, like, yeah.
Abort.
Like back up into the satellite. Like that got
That's
weird.
the wrong USB slot.
Before you left, you could see what Cadwin was working on was a massive railgun. He had it stretched out on a table. And then remember, you had sent it up like to 86 at some point, talking about like, we need a gun to kill basically a dragon. And
Shit, I forgot
apparently,
about that.
yeah, and apparently someone at 86 got that signal and they got to cracking on it.
Interesting.
It was all laid onto the table. You recognized it being similar to the one that Aura uses, but bigger. More power.
How many details did she notice?
She noticed that the energy consumption that it would have required multiple backpacks, that it's essentially a retooled tank cannon that's been kind of like modified down to be a crew serve weapon. And it has shells that can chain the power themselves. So again, it's a plasma weapon that all of its energy has to be stored in a charge that has to be loaded, like a resistor that's going to get blown the moment this thing fires. It's just going to hold up all that power in a capacitor. The capacitor is just going to go poof. It's just going to discharge plasma into whatever it hits. You got to get like one shot with it before it cooks the barrel.
Yes.
Got heat sinks all over it, and you can tell that he's already tooled it so that you can undo the barrel and like get another one on, like it was a World War II freaking yeah. Sitting there peeing on the barrel to keep it cool.
Mira does have gunsmith too, so
Yeah, no, she's recognized some of that stuff, and I'm like, oh no. So as Mira comes back with a horrible realization that someone's taking that gun order seriously, we're gonna jump back down to people arriving at where Hashmal is locked up. And we've got Connor coming into ours, which ours kind of like taking over this lab because nobody else has control of it. And here they're walking in. Ara, you've got Hashmal on drugs with Whiskey Tango with his gun head pointed at his head.
Argo just wheels out on a wheelie chair, like a fifth cup of coffee on the desk.
Yeah,
you're like, hey, fuckers, what you doing?
Yeah, a guy is just leaving with like you're flush with 450 new silver.
I was actually gonna do something about that.
Oh, he's just giving you the money so far. He hasn't the guy hasn't come in yet.
Ah, lovely. So I was actually gonna roleplay that a little bit.
Sure.
To see if I could get more.
Oh, okay. So we'll put him in the waiting room on the side. Like, I got more important guests. You sit there. Okay, go for it. So they just walk in.
Hey, you guys.
Go.
What y'all up to?
We're here to question your prisoner.
The still living corpse. Yeah, it's not coming on. If it does, I have whiskey currently programmed to shoot if it moves.
Oh, 100%
I'm not
fair.
dealing with that risk.
That's fair. I don't think my interpreter here needs him awake.
Glorious.
Bruce pulls up his belt.
If anything, it might be easier to keep his mind out of yours with him as drugged as... That's a lot of drugs going in his blood.
Not as much as you think. It's only about... Run some calculations. It comes out to like an absurd amount of drugs. Yeah, not that much. expensive, but not that much. He better be worth it.
Yeah.
I'm having to calculate the fucking expense of this goddamn place. Dear God, this man must owe us lots of money.
Argus over there running up a script bill for High Rise.
I know, right? Like, what the fuck?
Argo is going to be fucking a multimillionaire by the end of the session, if he's lucky. He's just looking at all the sheets. He's kind of just been like in between every single like time he has to like do an update or fix something and it's taking some time to download or upload. He's just been itemizing stuff and trying just to figure the value of everything. Going for the lists, seeing what lines up with what. Just doing some more basics. He doesn't know the exact amounts, but rough. And he'll learn it. Eventually.
All right.
If he gets into my head, I don't know what he is capable of. Well, I kind of do, but...
Okay, Roos, you don't have to be so close to my ear when you tell me this. I like pushes him back, like doesn't have to be right in my ear. It's not a drawing of a mouse, it's a rat.
It's a oh man, could be a rat. I still like it.
The tail is wavy, so you can tell it's a rat, not a mouse.
No, it's short. Mouse tails are very long.
They are. We have many mice in my house. They're all pets.
Adorable.
Bruce, if you'd like to take over.
Yeah. Scared you might have to shoot me in the head if he gets jumpy.
Try shooting him first. Dude, Connor points to Hashma before we have to shoot Bruce.
He says this because he saw what happened with the cultists, and yeah, he's already lobotomized considering his low intelligence, but whatever.
Argo doesn't take the second chance and already has the gas rifle getting ready.
Evaporate him.
Yeah. How is Hashmal open? Is he like wide open just because he's drugged, or like is there some resistance? What am I looking at here?
All right, so you have a door in front of you. This one is different than all of the other doors in the hallway. When you look directly at it, it is a iron wrought gate going into a garden. When you look left or right, you're back inside your hallway with the, weird office building like tile carpet and really bad, like, not monofilament lights, but the old gas lights. Damn it, a halogen. Fluorescent. The old fluorescent lights that make everyone look like shit underneath them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's that lovely, lovely kind of back rooms feel. And you look back, no, it's just a pleasant garden with a small marble table and some wireframe chairs, and a man who's sitting at a. You push open the gate.
Yeah, he'll go in.
Okay. You transition into a environment of full sensation. The sun is pleasant and warm. The humidity is just right. It's roughly 71, 72 degrees Fahrenheit. There's a gentle breeze and the sweet smell of freshly cut grass. There's a man sitting at a table with 6 horns, all fully grown out, that are pitch black with goat eyes and a goat face. And he puts down a small saucer with some tea in it, and you hear the porcelain clink together. He rests it. He turns and looks at you, and he gives you a broad smile. And he motions to a chair that now is there across from him at the table, along with another saucer with a curling steam coming from the top of it. And a small cake with a serving, not equipment, Jesus Christ, utensils, and other plates around.
I do like cake.
Would you like some white cake? Would you like some white cake?
I do like white cake.
Please have Have a slice of white cake. This tea is quite good. An Earl Grey. Do you like sugar?
I do.
And he drops 1 cube of sugar into your tea, stirs it, then hands it over to you as he stands up and sits himself back down into the chair. And picks up the tea and sips it himself. Ah, lovely. I'm going to die, aren't I?
Potentially.
That's no less than I deserve. I mean, if I did have full control of my faculties, I would probably pick you up and crush you against the nearest wall. I think it's better for both of us that I don't.
Yeah, it probably is.
I prefer this mental construction to reality anyways. So,
I think
what brings you around? Cat got your tongue? Or is it the rabbit?
could be rabbit, but I don't discriminate like my lovely cousin.
Yes. What was her name? Kit? It's just on the surface of your mind. Can't quite grasp it. Cat? Oot? No, Kit seems more appropriate. You sub-vocalize a lot. You always speak the words into your minds before you say them?
Yeah, I don't have much of one, so it's always good to think out what I'm gonna say before I say it.
Bad habit around other telepaths. You should probably just live more in the moment. It'll guard you from such invasions. Surface levels. Though I suppose being too dumb to have complex thoughts also protects you from telepathic intrusion.
Yeah, well, what even was that thing that you were guarding?
Oh! Huh. We called it Shao Thun, the synthetic biological company.
What now?
We created it in a lab.
Why?
We needed something with a larger, brain. Well, not really a brain, more of a gestalt consciousness of several individual organisms forming a larger organism that express its willpower over a wide area.
And but for what? Is it about unity or?
No, Unity. Well, I suppose we could say it was about Unity. As he sits there and the table is cleared and there's a set of dominoes on the table. Which number do you think I am?
I don't really play much.
You don't? As you see that there's a rack in front of you and he has a rack in front of him. Well, highest numbers go down first. Matching pairs. Sixes. As he puts down the 6 on them. You match the 6. Depends on which style you're playing. You can add them together to form other numbers. You can match them to one.
I'm not really a swift learner either.
That's too bad. Well, I'm actually none of these numbers. As he holds out one of the blanks and pushes it forward. Bit of a mistake, really. 4 tacos, $2. Everyone's outbidding him. It's Rocco and Sancho.
God damn it.
Oh boy.
I love when they come back. So Do I have it that you really don't have a goal by coming in here and questioning me?
Oh, damn.
You do
I
have
just
a
wanted
goal.
to see how much you'd open up, I guess.
Well, I'm holding up all right. This illusion I've been able to construct for myself is stable as long as nutrients are entering into my body and my brain's alive. Seems like all higher functions, heuristic functions, are limited, so I have only so much mental capacity. Really can't imagine letters very well. So really no reading going.
Are you 6?
Am I 6? I'm 6 by 6. 12.
Bruce kind of leans back in his chair because, as he said, he's not familiar with dominoes, so wrapping his mind around the concept is a little difficult for him. But so, how many of there are you?
Well, there were 11 more. You actually passed them. As the scene changes to a hallway filled with niches with skulls and numbers underneath them. All of them slightly more goat-like, starting with the first one, moving on. You remember this hallway?
Yeah.
Yes. You must have either left through here or came through here on your way down to my lair.
Yeah. We looked it over.
And this one right here, XII. Well, where my skull would have gone. But thankfully I was a success. Much as one can be.
And so you're also created to be a number.
In a laboratory. By a man. A genius man.
Is that,
Suppose I could call him father.
would you say that's Clark then?
Oh, is that what he called himself to? No, that... I do recall. That was the name he took here. Yes, Clark. Played himself off
great.
as being a bumbling fool.
Well, what are you calling then?
What do I call him? Well, I'll let you figure that out as the mental connection is broken and a field of numbers flashes before you, raining dominoes. So you blink and you're back in the present inside the lab. Shmal's heart is beating irregularly. Like he's having some kind of nervous fit, like in the body. There's a little, but there's no neural activity on the upper area. No need to blow his brains out yet.
So I can't like force my way back in.
There's nothing really there to force your way into. There was a little bit of neural activity, and now it's gone.
What the hell happened in there?
He went from goat to vegetable.
Argo, what the hell's happening to him?
Fuck if I know, I'm not a bioscientist. I was kidding.
Clark.
Clark.
Speaking of that,
Goes into his new money.
he's not who he says he is.
Gasp, I so didn't expect that.
So, what'd you all find out then?
Every single one of those goat's heads that we saw are synthetically created. And the monster was also synthetically created. He pinches the bridge of his nose. We need to find Clark now.
Yeah, that he seems to be the man of the hour.
Yeah, well, don't worry about money.
Saying that's Aura.
I'm pretty much out in the open.
Look, well, I'll discuss it with the triplicate and see what we can do. Maybe we can offer you guys some more incentive than just on good feelings to hunt this guy down. I got some pull here now, Roos.
Yeah, but I'm a little worried now.
You're worried. I'm not gonna lie, I've been freaking the fuck out ever since I took this gig.
So for Aura, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, he was just going to say that I have a feeling that one of those numbers is not the only one we're going to be running across.
Numbers. Hearing that again. Oh, actually, Argo. Connor turns to him while snapping his fingers, like trying to remember his thought. What's your plan here? Are you gonna keep going with that group to 86, or are you gonna be staying here?
I mean, I wouldn't mind going to 86.
Oh, good. Then you can meet me with the rest of the group later this evening in my office. I have a request to ask everyone.
Sounds wonderful. I just need to pick up some loose ends and maybe sell a ton of shit. And maybe buy some shit. This is basically has sadly become my lab now, apparently. Because the original owner has just upped and fucking left, so I'm currently owner of a key. I think the only one who technically have the other key would technically be the manager. Well, not the manager, the mayor. I don't fucking know. There's so much fucking information in here.
There's
if
a
you can
lot.
find anything.
It's like I could just use all this and sell it.
No.
And I would be fit for life. But that takes up too much effort. So I'm not going to do that. Wait, I could be fit for life, or at least buy my preferred body. But we'll talk about that later.
All right then. Yeah, I'll see. Did you say you were going to sell our information here?
I said I would love to, but it would take way too much effort and time. It would
Try
take
not to.
months to actually sell this.
Yeah, when you Connor,
it's
when
a
you look
decent
around the room,
price.
yeah, when you look around the room, it's the biotechnology that's in here is mostly here to support the I'm trying to remember the name, farming, agrarian. So a lot of the stuff that's used for the algae farms. This is the biological human synthetic side of that same like factory. And this is again an experimental lab. A lot of the vats here, like there's a lot of like just odds and ends, weirdly tied together stuff. It's like you ever been into a junkyard mechanics place?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that, but if it's like high science and like I don't even know what all those cables do. Like it's all leading to some weird gray brain looking thing that apparently makes coffee. I don't understand.
Yeah, Connor's taking a look and taking like mental notes of this place and thinking about before and comparing some notes in his head, thinking about his task ahead of leading this group, this community against Unity. Yeah. So, well, thank you for your help there, Roos. We can, I'll bring this information up to Lighthammer. And, yeah, again, later this evening, try to meet me in my office. I'm going to try to find the rest of the group to inform them on this, and hopefully we can all convene in a nice, convenient spot.
Hopefully. Dumb question. Directions to your office? I've been a bit busy in here. I don't really know the town. He just hands you a piece of scrap paper and a pen. Just give me some rough notes.
Yeah, he will. He'll just pretty much near the top. There's an office where he will be at. If anyone gives you a hard time, just have them radio me directly. I'll give you clearance to come visit me. I'll clear my calendar for that hour.
Sounds wonderful.
I have to break the immersion here for a minute because Apocalypse Bliss just posted in the freaking bubble chat for Mutant Epoch the ship that's been haunting my memories for 20 years. That I couldn't find the name of this from the book. I couldn't figure out what the book was because the title was, I didn't know what it was because I was a fucking neophyte baby when I saw it first. More than 20 years. 35 years. So yeah, thank you for that.
What's so special about the ship?
It was in a book, and I just didn't know what it was. I knew it was an RPG book. It was one of the first role-playing games ever made. That wasn't D&D, and it was that fucking ship, and I just didn't know what it was. And he's just casually posting pictures from my childhood that are sending me a brain dive. All right, back to this. Let's actually. Okay, we haven't focused much on actually Apocalypse Plus himself or his characters. So you've got this. We're gonna get. I want to do R's thing with the role-playing of the guy. But I want to also kind of keep rotating through characters. So you got Cinder and Red Rum. What are they doing right now? The guy went off. He did his thing. He thanked you. You're still kind of early in the day. There's a lot of movement, but again, it's energetic, but still kind of normal-ish.
So part of what is going to go down with Cinder and Red Rum is a discussion of what's next. So Cinder doesn't really know a lot of what's been discussed about Clark and all that jazz. So he's not sure, what the next step is as far as he knows. As he told the operative, the group was talking about going to Greywater and Bittertoe. Mm-hmm. And so that was the plan. As was mentioned back in Copper Dust, Rumred was not sure she wanted to just keep traveling. She was wanting to go someplace that had plants because her herbalist pursuit was very important to her. She actually wants to learn biotech, but that'll take 2 years or something along those lines. But she's not sure she wants to just keep traveling, which is problematic for both of them because they both kind of heavily rely on each other, as Rumred demonstrated when she had her meltdown and was giving headaches to everybody in the city trying to find him. And as Cinder has demonstrated, he's hard-pressed to just let her go and do her own thing without being overprotective dude. So they're going to be spending quite a bit of time going back and forth on what's next, and probably until this meeting and new information is presented.
So she would have access to, there's a center where they give you citizenship paperwork, so you want to be a citizen of High Rise, and it has job applications, schools so she can go to training, and nothing's closed off. It's all available to anyone who comes in and proves that they're not going to be a menace, and because they want to get people in, they want to train them, they want that diversity, because it only improves High Rise, especially now. You want to bring in people with different expertises and teach them stuff.
Rumred's goal initially was all about herbalism, but having arrived at this place and having had the interactions that she has and having kind of an epiphany about her own abilities, she wants to go full Jedi. She wants to start finding other psychics and training them in the ability that she has self-trained herself in.
Ooh.
And develop a, an order of individuals of like-mindedness and really not going to have a purpose other than, hey, we want more power.
Now, interestingly,
Teach us how to do this.
the deeper she goes into the high desert, the more
Mm-hmm.
telepathic or, well, ghost mutations in the Epoch parlance she's run into.
Mm-hmm.
And the more varied and powerful and odd their power.
Right.
That mystery is growing. So it's unknown if she keeps going east, will that grow in intensity or will it fall off? Or is high rise kind of like the peak of that?
Right. So that's good. That's good information. She might be tempted to explore more, and if it's not worth the time, she'd return to high rise and seek citizenship and training then. But she really does want to learn biotech.
There's also the option just to literally, because we're not limited like we would be in Crossroads region with gaining access to that information. She could literally get like a PDF reader.
Cool.
You know?
Yes, you would totally do that.
Yeah, and then like load up and start reading on it, like getting the vocabulary down and the education and learning and, you know, demystifying the process.
Yep.
She's learning that, you know, what the mitochondria is and what it does for the cell.
Yep. Well, she got some vague similar basis with her herbalism, and even though it's not science-based so much as, you know, observation and trial and error and so forth.
There's an empiric method there. Yeah. So she'll understand the methodology is very similar. They have a parallel. Okay, so we will jump over to Beans. If you're going to have those characters wait for the meeting for the evening. Now, you've got your little uplink scare that happened with Tibby and Cadwin, these two robots that were over at 86. You have spotted nobody up on the roof. Up in the roost.
Great. So what's next?
Yeah, what's next? What do they do?
Well, I guess with nothing else to do, Ray, gonna go check up on April, I suppose. I think I have something brewing in my head for that. And on her way, she's gonna radio in Red and see if she's free for a few hours.
Repeat that for me.
Okay,
I had that. Yeah.
Was I cutting out?
No, I did.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Ray's gonna go check up on April, actually, see if she's okay.
She's good.
And while she's on her way there, she's gonna radio Red.
Okay.
And see if she's got a few free hours. I didn't actually realize you're not in the game here. I left some message in the chat.
I'm all over the place. Oh yeah.
Cutting in and out.
No, me, like I'm reading out everything all over the place.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, she has Red.
So yeah. Hey Red, you got a few spare hours later? Oh, he's stepped away.
He's away from the microphone.
Anyways.
All right, Ara, you got your chance to roleplay this scene with this merchant.
Ah, lovely. Glorious. Okay. Main thing is that,
Oh, you're all done with your business?
I'm ready. So, you come for what?
Well, we got the skin. I've got the money here. I got 450. That's what we agreed on, right? 450?
Originally, before I saw 2 more fucking rolls.
Currently
down to just 1.
You see, say the price went down?
No, it went skyrocketed up. I'm looking at about roughly 2K at the moment.
2K? That's
Silver.
a whole skin suit. We just need a patch. Guys coming in, I got the wetsuit. We're just gonna patch them up. It's gonna be fine. 400, 450 is a pretty good price for this.
Well, do you got anyone else who got it? Because I'm currently having to figure out how to make it myself. So, we're currently running on a very limited supply.
Oh, God, no. You're the only one on short order notice right now. All right, so you got my balls in a vice. Look, I already agreed with the price with the other guy. He's kind of scary. He's got a big gun. I don't want to get my head shut off in the middle of the night. So, let's say...
I got a bigger gun. Algo just casually just pulls out his fucking Gauss rifle.
Just pats it like, right on the table.
It's like,
oh God, I thought that was a display piece.
No, Authority, nah. So, you gonna cough with the money?
I don't got the money. He's got the money.
How about you go back to your fucking friend, matey?
It's
and
not.
Go give him the money.
Not my friend. He's a customer. No. I'm trying to broker a deal here.
Yes.
Okay. You know what? I'll bring him around. We'll see if he can pony up more. He's not going to be happy.
I don't deal in happiness. I deal in cash. And I then deal in product.
Wife!
If I have money, I have product.
Screaming.
If you have information, I also have product. You decide.
All right.
Anyways, I shall be here for a few hours. If you can go get your customer, I shall be here working.
All right. So it takes him about 20 minutes to get the customer, and he comes back in. Same guy that was dealing with Cinder. He steps in. He's got his mask hanging around his neck. He's like, "What is this? The price went up."
Indeed.
All
Sold
right.
almost most of my skin.
Oh,
And,
so now you got a rare commodity, and I need it.
Indeed.
No. I know this game. All right, hold on. He's like,
Go on.
typical synth skin in the area runs anywhere from like 1 to 2 thou. So let's say I don't need a full patch job. I just need a partial. I give you 1,000 clean. We call it good.
You know what? Make 1.2 and we got a deal.
I wrote it.
Well, thing is, who else can give you this short order?
How about I give you sensor readout data on sand movements and the passages of different caravans coming up through Greywater over the past 2 months.
Make it 3, and then 1,000, and we got a deal.
3 months. 3 months of passenger data coming out, and he has a small device. He unplugs it from his arm. It's a small hard drive. He's like, "You got an uplink?"
I would just casually pour through his entire lab. Like a poison.
Not even gonna check me to see if I'm clean. All right. Is he? I mean, everyone is clean when they come into the city to get checked, but he plugs it in and data uploads. You can see its names, shippage, weights, like people that were with it, general idea of like what they were carrying for cargo in and out of Greywater. It's a pretty detailed list. It's definitely being taken from a primitive AI like sensor bot that's just kind of a drone that's out there just monitoring traffic coming in and out. He's like, satisfied?
Indeed.
All right. You even see the caravan of bugmen that were coming out that ended up at Copper Dust.
Ah.
Like, so it's like, he's not bullshitting it. It's from recent, past few months. Not something from like 2-year-old file. Like, all right. Goes into his, like, you want solid creds or you want physical currency?
Prefer physical, because people...
I get it.
I'll check his pockets to see his cred stick.
He's like, I can do local currency or I can do silver.
I'll take most of it local. I'll take a chunk if you got silver.
All right. We'll say, give you, he like opens up his satchel, takes out a bag, weighs it. Like, all right, 300 silver, 700 on the local.
Works perfectly.
All right. And he uploads you 700 credits from his account, and he gives you the rest in silver.
Perfect.
Okay.
Walks into the back and gets the material and gets him a little bit extra.
So you come out with it, and he's like, the other guy that's going to provide the tank and wetsuit's like, hey, he threw you in a little bit more in case we want to fix up that ugly face of yours. It's just like, ha ha, ha ha. Just the ribs will do. You can keep the rest. And they seem satisfied with your wares, and they walk out with it.
I acknowledge and goes back to business. Now, $1,000 switcher.
And local and hard cash. So what's Ronan been doing this whole day? Doing pumpkin stuff?
Ronan had finished utilizing his cleaning kit, cleaned his weapons, was wandering around aimlessly when Roos was talking about the different variations of Hashmal. Ronan had actually wandered into the lab at that point and put all of the skulls onto the table and then walked off. And otherwise, he's just been wandering around helping the rabbit folk with produce like they liked.
Yeah, they're just like, yeah, he's back. So you find from some of the rabbit folk when you're up there, they talk about plantoids up in an area called Gehenna.
Inquisitive pumpkin voice.
So there is apparently some of them had traveled over off the Demon's Parade, which is the road that goes north from Colossus. There's an area to the west of it that's described as a field of broken tombstones. It kind of just sounds like concrete pillars from the way that the rabbit folk are talking about it. But anyone who goes into the area gets violently ill within a few days. And they usually don't recover. They get weird burns all over their bodies. Their eyes bleed. Their sinuses bleed. Any mucous membrane basically breaks. And they usually end up with like a wasting sickness. You recognize the symptoms of radiation poisoning. But they talk about plantoids that are out there that try to keep you away from it. And they seem fine.
Seeing as how that's near his settlement, like, would Ronan be relatively familiar with that particular offshoot?
No, this is new to him. I mean, you had to physically walk past the Gehenna, and there was no plantoids. Like, it's an area everyone avoids because of the radiation.
Ronan hands a piece of paper and a charcoal pencil and like gestures draw plantoid.
All right, so they draw a few of them. It's the typical arrangement, nothing different than when you had in Gehenna. Some tree ones, some fruiting vegetation. Gourds.
He'll pocket it and thank them. And barf out some pumpkin gut to offer.
Yeah, like yeah. Blah, 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 blah. They're not weirded out by it like a lot of the humans are. The humans are like, no, gonna choose no.
Turns around and waddles off.
Unless they're a true desert survivor, they're like, oh, that's moisture. Give it up.
Yep. Otherwise, Ronan's just gonna do his usual waddling around looking at things.
And Duke's been keeping close to Kit.
Duke and Kit have been fucking off for a little while playing cards.
Yeah.
Although Duke is now currently trying to repair his leg while he's waiting.
Yeah, I want to pull Iliad in. What's Iliad doing?
Oh, that's right. No, Iliad has been actually catching up with Lighthammer. He would have been mostly spending his time with him.
Talking about the old days.
Exactly.
So what you do find out from Lighthammer, this entire time he's been conscious. Like, he's been in the hammer and not able to do anything.
Yeah, so Iliad would like to know how long has he been prisoner to Ephraeli?
2 years. Couldn't figure out how to turn him on. She tried to wield him on several occasions, thinking, like most people, that the hammer was just a hammer, and that the robot was damaged. not realizing that the two were actually completely separate entities. The robot was just a vessel.
She always did have that issue with men.
Lighthammer chuckles at that. The joke is well placed. She had a poor choice in her partners. Now, before then, he had been traded around in various merchant caravans. He had ended up at the Colossus for a time, where there was a very large colossi a very large beetle man who had actually wielded him effectively in combat for a few years, until being defeated by a younger male in a display of strength and authority. Combat over, like, mating rights.
I see.
And then he passed to that one, and then he was lost in the desert for a time, and then he was recovered by another merchant's caravan that happened to come through when the sand had pushed off of him off the side of a dune. Can't say for how long he was under the sands, but then he ended up, after several trades, here in High Rise, just as a bauble for sale, and Efrieli recognized what it was, and bought him. And that's when he noticed that his other self was here as well. But no matter what he did, he couldn't get to him. He couldn't establish an uplink. There was always some kind of dampening field that was preventing it.
See. Such a long time to be without your other half, so to speak.
Like a cripple without the ability to move.
Just glad to see you're all right, and some of the old breed is still alive.
Some of us are. So
I hear you're staying here with Connor for some time.
He's asked me to help put together the order and bring some sense of nobility back within the ranks. These men need it. They've been shaken to their core. Their whole identity has been destroyed. Must rebuild them. And you? You're going back, aren't you?
I'm going back. There's been lights saw in the ruins. I need to know what that is.
I heard there was lights. Sitting up on that mantle. I've rarely discussed it a few times. Before she was turned. She had a desire to return.
But she never went back.
No, she never did. Fell underneath the beguiling touch of that creature, Ashman. He never fully possessed her, but he took something. Some said a part of her mind. Very dangerous creature he was.
Saddens me that even our ranks can fall to the temptations.
They're just flesh.
That is true. I sometimes forget I have to forgive organisms like that for their more simple biology.
Forgive them. Oh. Do not place ourselves too far away from forgiveness for ourselves, as he nods towards the window that overlooks Tetanus Valley. There's plenty of our brethren out there, screaming at the sky.
Iliad looks out to Tetanus Valley, just kind of feels like this weird, like, fuzzy sensation in his brain.
Plague rips through them still.
The plague I had.
Yes, you came through it.
That doesn't happen, though.
Well, eventually it will. All viruses, all plagues, man-made and robotic, eventually find some mutant that's able to resist them, that casts them off.
I need to find Athena.
Athena.
She's out there.
I saw Athena die.
I know. He raises his hand like as if he doesn't want to relive, or rather try to relive that memory that doesn't play in his brain. I know. She had supposedly died, but I saw her out in the desert with the kin of one of our own. I had knighted him before her. She was there.
You knighted a new one.
Yes, he heads to the barbaric area of the Crossroads region, but he will do great work there.
Lighthammer stands up abruptly. You knighted a new one! There's a new hydraulic knight!
Yes. Iliad says, kind of confused.
Then we still live. It's like you can see him, like his whole demeanor. He's shaking. It's not with anger. It's joy. This robot is shaking with joy. You can hear it in his voice as he raises up. A new knight has risen. Athena.
Yes, she blessed it. I saw her. She is out there.
No, this cannot be. Did she manage to upload herself into something? She finds some way to hide. How is this going to be possible? I watched them destroy her mind. I watched as Domino came through the fortress gates and buried that damnable virus into her core. She backed herself up somehow, but how? She was immense. She was a massive creature. How simple the device could contain all that she was.
I seek answers for this too. For a time, I felt lost, but I feel foolish now to ever have doubted her. She is our patron, our wise patron. Of course, she had backups, but
Lights and bitter toe.
that's why I head that way.
I have a duty here. The men and women of this city who stood against Domino. I will hold the ground here to turn. Find the other knights. Bring them together. Raise the banner over the old fortress.
That's exactly what I plan to do. And I take your blessing for this quest with the most gracious thanks, old mentor.
Do not take my blessing for this. Iliad. There are none other who can induct you into the table. There are none other who can bring you amongst the knight captains and name you as one. Only I am remain. You take on this burden.
Iliad will he puts his fist to his chest and bows his head. I will.
I call you brother captain now. Take on the burden of the knights of the whole order. Find them. Bring them. Together we will bring war to unity.
Now Iliad sounds excited, like he's shaking that excitement. Yes, finally.
Aw, robot shaking. Just a
Creaking.
clanging.
Yeah, clink, 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 clink. All right. Now, let's shift scenes to Connor's office. The gathered party. Connor, you have
His sick office.
Yeah.
Imagine there's plenty of seating and drinks to be offered for anyone who desires. And then Connor, no longer dressed in his farmhand outfit. He's actually like in a suit with tie and all. And he's just like he's looking out his window over the city. Is that desk what?
Mahogany.
I don't know.
Mahogany.
It just turns around quizzically.
Could appear to be some type of wood.
It's mahogany.
Ronan nods.
Well, don't you clean up nice?
Connor gives a nod before looking back out. He has a drink in his hand. He takes a quick throw of it before looking back at the party. So, some things have changed, obviously. I'm now mayor of High Rise, and this is where we part ways, more or less, for now. But I'm going to be blunt, true, realistic, whatever you want to call it. I don't think Unity is going to like this too much. And even if not, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to wait and let it regroup. War is coming, but High Rise can't do it alone. So, I know everyone here is heading towards Greywater, and I assume still 86 to eventually deal with that strike problem in the mountains. But for now, High Rise can't survive as an island. And I would ask you all a favor, whoever wishes to take this. Be my envoy for High Rise 286. Offer an alliance, a military alliance. We need to start bolstering our ranks and getting higher tech here that can fight Unity. None of you are under obligation to do this, but the few weeks I've traveled with you, you have all seemed more capable than anyone else I can think of right now to send that way.
Ronan plops over to him and pats him on the leg, gives him the equivalent of a thumbs up.
Connor pats the top of his gourd. Thank you, friend.
Mirror pops up. I may be able to patch you in directly if you wish.
Hell, I would take that.
I would need access to your systems.
Consider it done. We'll work on that. See what we can get done, but I have this inkling feeling we'll need in-person contact to show goodwill.
At the very least, they'll know we're coming.
Fair. Just kind of look at the rest of the group.
Hit Argo, Cinder.
I mean, I am going that way. If we don't get this all resolved with Mira there, I'm okay with representing you at 86.
Duke, as he's like partaking from the alcohol cabinet.
Pray forgive my libations. It helps dull the pain.
You earned it.
Limps over again.
Bruce actually stands up and walks close to Connor. Look, don't be getting any big head just because you're the mayor.
In all honesty, in the emergency election in a few months, I would hopefully be voted out of office.
The light hammers in the back. I would not count on it.
If I may be so bold, Sarah Connor. From what your allies have informed, I would be weary of your compatriots in this, what did you call them? A triumvirate?
Triplicate.
The triplicate. I would be weary of them. From what you have described, yes, the seeds of unity were planted, but something had to allow them to grow. And that might be thine enemy.
It's a good point, Duke, and funny enough, you have 2/3 of the triplicate in the room right now as he gestures back to Lighthammer.
Lighthammer taps his chest like with his like ting ting. The Duke I know what you speak of, though. The Baron of Greywater.
It would simply be best to behoove that concept.
I have had my suspicions of him for a long time. Cyborg. He has too much influence here. And too much influence over Greywater itself, last I heard of him. Think that a foreigner would be able to garner so much control and power in so few years. He is clever. Wise. He is patient.
Thou hast cause to distrust him, my lord?
Distrust him? No. He will do what he needs to do for his own people. Suspect that what he would do to betray others to keep Greywater alive? Well, I would not call it suspicion, simply proven fact. He will do what he needs to do.
Thou needst only give the word.
He does not need to die, dude. He needs to live. He has kept Greywater intact, survived, and thriving. Decades now.
Aye, Lord Commander. But my knight has also trained me in the ways of information gathering. If it is thy wish, I will prize some form of information without the enemy knowing.
I think his first name is Richard, right? The Baron?
Yeah.
The Baron? Yeah. Richard Buchanan? Yeah. No, Sir Buchanan is clever. Bring him a gift. Something warranting his station. But it must have a meaning that's carried with it. Meaning that... A gift that will bite him. Or at least a memory of one.
Ronan hops up and down a little bit,
Yes?
opens his maw, and
Lighthammer
snaps it.
chuckles to that. No. No.
Sad pumpkin noise.
Retrieve for him one of the broken doors to the fortress of Bitter. The metals they were made of were rare, strong and powerful. Very good armor can be made from them, or a locking mechanism or a weapon. But those doors collapsed because of his inaction. Give him the remains of them. A gift. And that we do not forget. As he turns to Connor, would that do, Lord Mayor?
Lord Mayor. Connor takes a seat at his desk, waving it off. That sounds like a bunch of night shit. In all honesty, do what you gotta do to appease him. You gotta figure out what's going on that way. It's too much silence ever since this all went down.
That's what Greywater does best. Survive.
Well, we're not going to survive without each other. Not unity, at least. But,
Argo.
apologies.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead. Argo, you have access to a bunch of equipment that was going in and out of Greywater. In there might be information if he had perused it in a few hours.
That's my plan.
So in the few hours before this meeting, if he had perused it, you would have noticed that they needed constant resupplies of desalination equipment from 86. They were burning through units at a rate that should be impossible. They should be replacing water purification units almost every week.
No.
So Greywater, like its namesake, is having water problems.
Lovely.
Do you want to bring that up now, or do you want to hold on to that?
Well, it's the meeting, so why the fuck not? Just an FYI, I've been looking for data. I know it's a weird time to bring it up, but it's been going on for I believe a little bit. I don't know how long. But Greywater has apparently been burning through a ton of their water purifiers. Like candy. As in, a batch a week.
A
When they
Lighthammer
normally last
whistles.
months.
Like he has the equivalent of like a robot whistle, just a picture like. That's not good.
Indeed.
The whole reason the Baron secured his bot on the triplicate was because of this water. What's going on that way?
They supply water for all the homesteads in the Deadwood. That's not good at all. Not good at all.
And you said this is coming from 86 to Greywater, these water purification chips.
Yes.
Well, even more reason to head out that way.
It means they'll be crossing the feeding grounds, heading up towards Colossus, then moving southwest. Not a safe transit to go for a caravan. Has to be heavily armored. Soldiers, resources, supplies, money. Well, I suppose that should be something you look into.
But that does bring us to the next matter of, I'm sure no one here is really working for charity.
Says Cinder.
Except maybe the knights, but yes.
Argo deeply coughs hard.
How about Duke? Duke, I mean, he can ask for money. I mean, you need money to do things.
Nay, what I require most is information. I've lost much time.
Greywater
Though
will be a good place for
access
that.
to some decent medical equipment wouldn't be remiss. Alcohol, things of that nature, so that I may better prepare for the journey ahead. I need only what my pack can carry.
Lighthammer lets you know he's privy to Ephraeli's old stocks, and she maintained a pretty good infantry supply warehouse that was well appointed, and that he'll see what they have in there for you to be able to stock up on your kit bag.
And Lord Commander, if another chance presents itself, mayhap I could bend your ear regarding the fate of my knight. I must return to him as soon as possible.
That is a story worth telling. We will drink to it.
Right, but back on the topic of pay, what was the number we were thinking for this errand?
Well, for the emissary errand, I was thinking possibly 1,000 hard silver for each of the ones involved. That doesn't cover their travel expenses or the refresh of their kits. They'll need to be able to get more water at Greywater itself. And so I think a line of credit that we can establish with the city would be beneficial for them. Room and board is not inexpensive there.
Right.
We can provide for them perhaps, we have a diplomatic suite that after they have maintained at the Baron's estate. They can stay there, but they will be under surveillance if they do.
But it's at least a place to lie your head.
Is that suitable? As Lighthammer looks to the group. And then finally he rests his eyes on Cinder.
We can make do.
Very good. I rely on you for this. And you
Rhea
can
pops up, puts both her hands on the tables like, you owe me 10,000 silver for saving your city.
Kit actually glares.
And Ronan wants a puppy.
Listen here, you. Well, maybe that one we could work somehow, but no, not 10,000.
I think 2,000 is fair.
2,000 for that, and we're willing to pay you extra if you, on your way, manage to get Clark back here, alive.
Oh, you bet your ass I'm
Sounds
gonna
like
get
a-
that piece of
Oh,
shit.
yes.
So there's a moment, Cinder, where Lighthammer is looking at you, and he's behind Connor. He's behind Connor, and he's
Yeah.
locking eyes with you. And you can see Connor saying alive, but you know the message that Lighthammer's giving you.
Got it. I'll acknowledge with a slight tilt of the head.
Ayu just simply smiles.
It's
I do technically need him alive. He owes me way too much.
Yeah, so Lighthammer and
Far
Connor
too
can probably gonna have Lighthammer's gonna have a conversation with Connor later about like bringing that man back in alive because Lighthammer has suspicions. He's not certain, but he's as close to certain as he can be.
I mean, if they would have discussed this before, he wouldn't care about that. Then
No. It's gonna be after because he's recently gained some new information after the party. He wouldn't have time to have told you.
Okay.
No, it's because he didn't know about Roos's little investigation in Hashmal's head.
Recently, however, aside that, his family, Kent's mom name here, like them alive more important than Clark, I suppose, but I still don't think they are guilty.
No, we need him alive.
That boy is simply trying to follow after his mother and father and do what's right by his family. That is a noble thing.
I know not who these people are, but I am not in the like of slaying women and children.
I agree with you.
Duke has no idea that Kent is a grown man.
You are right about child in mind, at the very least. Yeah, that investigation will also send you to Greywater, is our best guess. A working theory, probably Bittertoe.
It actually pipes in that, that Kent was our friend, right?
Yeah, that's why I don't want you guys clocking him when you catch up. Just Clark is the priority target.
The more I investigate him, the less I seem to know. Ephraeli's notes upon the man were subpar for her normal gathering techniques. His occupation is unlisted, his laboratory is undocumented, his power supply and resource needs were unknown. His documentation control is non-existent. It boils down to, I don't know what the man did. I don't know how long he was here for. I don't know what his coming and goings were. He was a virtual ghost. There are people who knew him, but none of them well. They called him a drunk, layabout, unable to do anything. Apparently he had many arguments with his wife inside their rooms. People could hear it outside, but none of them really escalated to anything other than these kind of social tiffs. Lovers' quarrels, they called. And then he would occupy his time inside the laboratory, and then not return for several nights. In those times, I cannot find nor place him.
I'll tell you what he was doing.
Oh?
He was making things, numbers.
Ronan grows his vines into like goat horns on his head.
Yeah. I may have delved into Ashmal's mind, and well, he told me more than enough. Than let's just say that Clark is not who he says he is, and all that nonsense about fighting with his wife and appearing to be a drunk and all that is an act.
Lighthammer considers this as he his fingers drum upon the hammer itself. Again, that old tick that he had when he was processing. This is curious. It complicates things even. The more I learn about this
we need
man,
him alive.
perhaps. As he looks over again at Cinder, and this time anyone else in the room probably notices that he's looking at Cinder again. Lighthammer's not great at obfuscation.
Cinder just smiles back at him.
Just a blank face.
Yeah. Alive if doable. If he must be taken, if he puts up a fight, if he seems dangerous. I do not like this. Connor, I do not like this at all.
Alright, well, maybe alive enough for me to get into that mind of his.
For all means, if he's going to be a risk to our security, if he even steps foot in high rise, please, Connor will put like a finger gun to his head and makeshift pull the trigger.
Lighthammer nods to this. It might not be honorable, but it is what is necessary. We must ensure the safety and survival of the city above all other things. It is... He says, it's the sin that your forebearer also bears.
Oh, you're talking about the old mayor? Yeah, we'll be dealing with him.
Indeed.
Honestly, I was tempted to exile him with you guys when you left. Take care of him. And the last thing I want him to do is become a martyr.
Lighthammer, literally, his head, pops back, and you think, that's actually quite ingenious. You need a skilled negotiator. He is loyal to the city, that is without question. And with a handler or two, you have your ambassador.
Oh, okay, then, yeah, maybe do that and take care of him the more literal way, rather than the wink, wink, nudge, nudge way I was suggesting before. Sure. You know what? I'll go discuss with the good previous mayor and see what we can come up with. But again, remember, this guy will be sent with you. There's a reason why there's a coup. So if at any time this plan starts to fall apart because of his actions otherwise, you need to, he does the finger gun thing again. Just radio me back and I'll understand. We have plenty of other skilled talkers here.
Let my gun do my talking for me.
Mirror down there. Yeah, headshots.
This is becoming a better idea to send an actual negotiator with them now. Yes, I realize that now.
This is good. I had not thought about it till he was mentioned. This will work. Well, it has a better chance of working. Very well.
He can redeem himself too.
Tell
Then
him.
it is thy order to protect him until he completes his negotiations at Greywater, Lord Commander.
Well, not to kill him after he completes them. He will be of use to the city still. While he's alive, he is of an asset.
Then upon my life he shall come to no harm.
Very good, dude.
Greywater 86 too, I would assume, but
Across the feeding ground.
Then it shall be as such. Sir Connor.
yeah, that's. I don't want to speak for us actually with the acquiring of funds, but I think it might be fair that we pay in advance due to their passage of feeding grounds.
Raya.
What do you want, the man?
There are raiders that come out of Rabbit Hole around Greywater. They have been seen as far east as the feeding grounds into 86, and they're known to trade with the robots there.
This is probably correct.
Is there a passage?
Through the feeding grounds?
Under them.
There's a passage to anywhere in the high desert, under the high desert. Whether or not you'll make the journey alive, that's an entirely different story.
Interesting. See if you cannot find some of your kin. Discover how it is that these resources are coming in and out of Grey. Are they passing truly over the top of the feeding grounds, or are they going through Colossus? I need to know. That might give you an indication of how to pass through that hellscape unscathed. I know that the Underwarren is deadly, even with the most peaceful corners. Meeting grounds are an absolute hell.
Well, you're trading one hell for another kind.
Perhaps. But I'd rather at least have a guide through one of them. He's looking at you.
What?
A guide through one of those hells.
Kit is smiling ear to ear.
Gotta go into the underborns. Yeah!
I'm gonna get me some pelts.
Duke size. Underground is no way for a duck to travel.
See what you find. Make decisions that will be the safest route. It's best if the ambassador arrives to 86 alive.
I mean, I suppose.
Alive enough.
I'm sorry he sold out my town to the bastard I hate the most. Like, can you really blame me?
I do not blame you, Connor. Your passion will be an asset to High Rise. It's probably why you won't lose the election either. You're stuck with this position, I'm sure, boy. Wow, Lord Mayor.
I'll do my best to keep myself alive, if he can keep up. Well, good for him.
Very well then. We'll saddle you with this new responsibility, arm and armor you for your trek, and see you off in the morning. Well, after you fully recuperate. As he looks at some of you who got pretty badly banged up in that fight.
It is not looking good.
Yeah.
Iliad takes out this tissue binder. Well, I mean, I could speed up this process if I could get this recharged after I'm done.
And let them...
Down.
What type of power does it take?
It's a power cell.
Duke reaches into his side, like, of his flesh and pulls out a power cell. Here you are.
Thank you. Are you Sir Duke?
You look familiar, and I was never knighted, Daryl. You do look familiar.
Squire.
Aye.
Your
Squire
shape
to
is
the
also
Dark
familiar
Knight.
to me.
We'll drink on this evening, gentlemen. Not here. We have much to discuss. And
I shall take your expended power cell, however.
Very well, thank you. And then he gets to work on just binding people up.
yeah, not in Connor's office.
Kit,
Please.
In a hospital wing. Kit what?
Kit actually before, well, as everybody leaves, she actually stands up and she goes to Connor, and he says, "Oh, Connor, now look at you. You're a mayor now."
Yep, sure am. And look at you. Getting what you want. Heading back out there.
I don't think it's what I want. If I wanted to, I could stay here, but duty calls.
Also, 2,000 plus silver isn't a bad payday.
Yeah, but coming from you is a little different, ain't it?
Connor shrugs.
She puts her hands on his shoulders and she just sighs really heavily. And well, even though you're the mayor and all that, just don't lose sight of who you are, okay?
He smiles and nods his head. Of course, kid. I'll be the same Connor when you get back.
I hope so.
Just be sure to come back.
Well, when I got Bruce on my tail,
Yeah, I know.
And then she gives him a peck on the cheek, and then she leaves.
Little scared, like, eat, peck, run.
Yeah, little gremlin kiss.
Little gremlin kiss.
As she leaves, Connor takes his hand out from behind his back and uncrosses his fingers and just kind of sighs. I'll do whatever it takes to keep this city safe.
Ronan makes a loud slurping noise as he was standing behind the desk. drinking out of his face bag.
Break that tension.
Connor points at me. You didn't hear shit.
Ronan points at his head where yours should be.
Ha ha.
Walks off.
Lighthammer looks at Connor. Lord Mayor, I'll take my leave then.
Yeah.
Iliad,
Missed.
Duke.
Outside, just outside the office is where he starts binding people up since he was told not in the office.
Yeah.
Kit, you have many more bleeding orifices than you should have.
Yeah. They messed me up good.
It looks over at Lighthammer. Yes.
We have something to discuss, along with you and Duke. But first, I have something to give to Cinder. He has
Nice.
Oh,
he has a wrapped package that he brings over and he holds it up. This was not something that a knight would normally possess. And he unwraps it, and you get a monomolecular blade that you recognize to be a Whitehole product.
huh?
It was in Ephraeli's possession. I think she took it from an agent.
That could be.
They found it out in the deserts. Someone who was ill or lost or stranded. To be honest, I don't even know how to turn it on. You can see that it requires an ident chip in order to actually like activate. But it acts like a laser scalpel would, but it doesn't really have like a. The power supply is unique to Whitehole. Just like the other battery that the guy had. It's a biological battery.
Cool.
I do not know where she obtained this. I have found other things like it within the inventory and kit of the Met. Seems that only Unity was trading.
Unity trades many things,
They do.
some of which they should not have.
They should not. But I have a feeling that you would know what to do with this and any other devices that.
Well, I'm quite creative with the use of implements.
Oh, another thing. I recently gained a new recruit. Interesting.
Oh?
Yes. Said you were friends.
That one. Watch her carefully. Friends is perhaps overstating.
Well, I'll keep an eye on her. Both of them. Be well, Cinder.
That is wise.
Men, let us retire to Ephraeli's quarters. We have much to discuss. Stories about the Black Knight and Iliad's younger days.
Oh boy, something I don't know about.
Woot, woot.
I
And,
leave then.
and with that, unless anyone's got anything specific they want to cover, I think we can call it.
Call it.
All right. That is.
I guess we can probably call it, yeah.
Yeah.
That was more like a side thing.
Oh, okay. We'll cover that then on the side, and then that's the Mutant Epoch, the High Desert. Thanks for those of you who came in and watched it. You can buy the Mutant Epoch at themutantepoch.com, drivethrurpg.com. The links are in the description, along with a link to the Discord, and also you can find the Mutant Lord, who is Will McCausland. He is the creator, the artist, the writer of all of this, and you can find him on X as Mutant Lord and the Mutant Epoch. You can find him on Instagram as Mutant Lord, and you can also get all this information. Just go straight to the website at mutantepoch.com. He has it all listed on the front, along with upcoming titles that he's working on right now. I can't remember the name. I think it was Nuke Tower as one of the ones that's coming out next. I think he's talked about that a little bit inside the Discord. And We have the third-party license. The first draft of it is up over there as well for people to be able to create their own content. And that's something we as this group here are going to be putting stuff out for the high desert underneath that so that people can have access to it. Do a couple free things to start off to, get the mouthfeel of the whole process and get it all published and where a place can be. So one of the first ones we're going to be doing is the zap guns themselves, all the weapons that we're for the high desert.
We'll all get a good mouthfeel on zap guns.
All right, bad usage of words there. But thank you. Yeah, God, no, Jesus. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night, and see you all next week.